What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining me here today. Lions Talk Live, bi-week Saturday morning show edition. You know what? I know half you are probably at least getting ready for tonight's big game, Michigan versus Michigan State. While the Lions aren't playing this week, there are perhaps a few things in the works from Brad Holmes in this front office. Let's be honest, those guys don't ever sleep. We're going to only have 5 main topics, headlines now today. Don't really have a centralized focus on today's show just because it is the bye week. There is a little less news. And really, I don't have it in me to do a breaking news, in-depth breakdown of Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby, or Bubba Al Baker Smith coming out of retirement to play for the Detroit Lions. So we're just going to go through the 5 headlines now. No Dan O'Damas, as you might have been able to notice today. He is off on super secret assignment. Probably won't see him till next week, but he did say the Lions will not lose this week on the bye week. So take that for what it's worth. Real quick, before we get into the 5 headlines for today's show, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We are 101 sub away from hitting 15,500. If you can assist with that, I surely would be thankful. Also, if you have a half second of time, it's free of charge, doesn't even cost a dime. Reach on down, over, left, right, center, wherever it is on your screen. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons as we try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last, but most certainly never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, let alone the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on your screen, 269-998-2384. Have a quick conversation with me. See how I can use over 30 years in the industry. Save you hassle, save you trouble, save you issues, save you money. Who doesn't like saving money? Go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text, and we'll go from there. Other than that, let's get the show rocking, rolling, going, and kicking off with 5 headlines now. All right, 5 glorious headlines coming our way. 1, 2, 3. Lions linebacker says Dan Campbell is best head coach he's ever had. SI.com story by John Macaron. This is coming from the perspective of Derek Barnes. Derek Barnes, we get it. He played at Purdue. He's played and he's been successful at every level he's played football. But when asked before he took off for the bye week, when asked about his opinion, who are some of the best coaches he's ever worked with, who are some of the best ones in the NFL, he did not hesitate. He said Dan Campbell. No offense to any other coaches, but Dan is probably the best coach I've ever had. He is like the head coaching wise of all. He is like the best head coach of all the head coaches he's ever been with. And he's just like Shep. You can talk to those guys about anything, no problems at all. Whatever you've got on your mind, you can go ahead and address it with Dan, says Barnes. Continuing the quote, that's what I respect about him the most. When you respect a coach and the coach respects you, I mean, it's a beautiful thing that I can walk up into the office anytime and say, hey, what's going on with Dee? What's going on with this? Can he explain that? And I express my feelings to him. It's amazing. As you guys may or may not know, some coaches, they have their opinion. They sit on top of a podium, and that's it. It is not a democratic society in the world of coaching for some people. MCDC from multiple different players. He is very open to guys coming up and approaching him with ideas, thoughts, or just asking questions. Some people, and I'm sure it's not just coaching, it's probably in the business world as well. if once you've established yourself as the head person of whatever, you just don't want anybody questioning it. MCDC seems to embrace it, and that's one of the things that Derek Barnes really respects the most about him. Derek Barnes, amongst other Lions players, just in case you don't know already, since they're receiving treatment for ailments, they can't really take off on the bye week. They have to be around Ford Field and the facilities to receive treatment. If you want to check out more of this, you can check out this article, or you can go to Detroit Sports Podcast. They also have a bit of a clip and excerpt of the interview with it, so go check that out if you have any free time over this bye week. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Colin Cowherd finally admits defeat in laughable Dan Campbell takes sideline report. Max tomorrow with this one. You know, we're talking about Dan Campbell a little bit this morning. So is Colin Cowherd yesterday, or maybe how about this, on a recent version of his podcast. When Dan Campbell was hired, there were a whole lot of people, you guys all know it, in the national media saying he's just a meathead. You know, this is a terrible hire. He really doesn't know anything. Listen to how he talks. Of course, when he had the introduction speaking, he talked about biting the kneecaps and everything. That's just never going away. That's going to stick with Dan Campbell as long as he's a coach, and probably even afterwards if he goes into a booth or something to broadcast games. But Colin Cowherd, he's took to his show, his national show, and just said basically he messed up, man. He didn't see all the different layers that Dan Campbell brought to anybody who hired him. Remember, there were teams that turned him down for interviews. The Detroit Lions even considered hiring him instead of Matt Patricia back in the day. Thankfully, it worked out the way it did, because I don't know if we'd have the same opinion about Dan Campbell now as if we would have then, if he would have been with the part of the Patricia era. Colin Cowherd says, quote, once again, Dan Campbell's culture is building. He is the Ted Lasso with biceps energy, and displayed that on Monday Night Football, there where they've won 5 straight games. He's talking about on Monday Night Football. Continuing the quote, I'll be honest, I thought he was a meathead biting kneecaps in his first press conference in the history of Colin right, Colin wrong. This is probably the most wrong I've ever been. Just as Baker Mayfield is a perfect fit for Tampa Bay, Dan Campbell should be the Lions head coach forever. He is a home run, end quote. And I think you'd have to agree. And the only head coach during my time of covering the Lions, or being a Lions fan even, that I would say kind of rivals him somewhat is Wayne Fontes. I've talked about it a lot on the show over the years. And here's my take. When you would go into the locker room with Wayne Fontes, you knew where he was, even if you couldn't hear him, because he was that loud as far as usually cracking jokes. He was a constant comedian. Now, when he got in games, that was different. But, man, part of the reason why his players loved him is just you felt like he was the coach, but you could go up and talk to him anytime. As a reporter, you could go up and ask him questions. He had a very open-door policy. Yes, there were some things he can't answer, same as every head coach, but that's where these two seem very similar. Players feel like they aren't just a number on the field. Dan Campbell commands respect from his players because he treats them with respect. It's a symbiotic relationship. Wayne Fontes, man, let me tell you, he was smoking cigars quite often in the locker rooms. He probably can't do that anymore, but he was just a constant chatterbox. I didn't get to interview him all the time, but when I did, I enjoyed it. And I've got to imagine, I've never been in a Detroit presser with Dan Campbell. I'm just not a part of the media at that level anymore. But I got to imagine you have an opportunity to just ask him some questions. He's going to answer them. He's going to shoot straight. I don't think there's anybody out here that thinks Dan Campbell leads you astray with any of his answers, or he's trying to hold back. And I have to imagine when he's dealing with his players, it's much the same. And that's probably why Derek Barnes likes him so much. It's also, to Colin Cowherd's point, it's also probably why this thing has worked so well for half a decade. The players bought in even when they weren't getting wins in year one. And then, of course, eventually you do need to get victories to kind of solidify what you're saying and selling as a coach. The end of his first year, you go back and you think about the big wins they had down the stretch, that really gave people belief. And then the second year, we all know they started off, I think it was 1-5. It wasn't going well. And then they got the big win at Ford Field against Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers. And from there, now you've got belief because you're getting success in the field. Now guys feel even more like they're a part of the show because you're giving them an open door process. I think Dan Campbell is, we've talked about it in other headlines and other shows this year. Dan Campbell's become a case study for so many teams, so many coaches, so many businesses. how to interact with your employees to get the most out of them and make everybody feel like they're a part of the team, more or less. I think he's going to be here for a long time. All right, popular Detroit Lions trade target likely to remain with the Jets. Detroit Lions NSI story by John Macarone. It is trade deadline season, so we're getting all sorts of stuff. Like I said at the start of the show, you've got more and more stuff popping up about Lions going to trade for Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby, or whoever else. This one I could have seen someone, although if you ask the player himself, not so much. That's Jermaine Johnson from the Jets. Could he be brought in for the team? Sure. He is coming off an Achilles heel injury that limited his time last year. He's having an okay season, probably not his greatest season. The Jets are currently 0-7, so could Aaron Glenn look to, sell off some parts, get some draft capital, rebuild this thing? Normally, I would say yes, but the other part of that is at some point you need talent to win games. And Aaron Glenn, the former Detroit Lions defensive coordinator, is not having a good start to a career. In fact, they're already starting to see in Vegas betting lines emerging. When's he going to get fired? Some of you guys even send me messages saying, man, he just got fired last week. He just got fired today. I don't think he's going to get canned this year, but maybe next year if he doesn't have some better success, he's probably in trouble. New York, I don't care if you're talking about the Jets or the Giants, it's not a great place for coaches because they do not give you much time. You better win now. With this potential trade, I just don't know if there'd be enough meat on the bone for the Jets' perspective to make something happen because we all get it. Brad Holmes is not giving up a first or second and third round pick. Take those off the table. So to acquire Johnson, which I guess the other part becomes, where do you put him on the line? How do you play him? We got to lean back. We've got so much talent, it seems like, emerging on this defensive line. I understand why everybody who's a beat reporter during the bye week and it's a slower time to come up with stories has stories like this. At the same time, we have to all ask ourselves, why would the Lions give up so many future draft picks to get someone like this? I like him. I like him a lot. I just don't know if he's a massive upgrade over some of the other guys in this locker room. I guess let me know your thoughts in the comments section. The Jets did make a decision to pick up the fifth-year option, ensuring he will get at least $13.4 million in 2026. So could you get him for this year and then next year? I guess a year and a half rental. I guess we can debate about it because it is the bye week. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. I didn't want to go over the main topic of the day, but you guys knew this stuff was coming. I knew it was coming, and here it is. Detroit Lions and Max Crosby, the focus of trade chatter. The heavy story by Ann Erickson. Let's just assume, for the sake of discussion, that Max Crosby was up for the trade. If he was up for trade, would the Detroit Lions go calling? Would Brad Holmes give up 2 first-round picks? How about a first and a second? How about 2 seconds and a pack of Mountain Dew? Probably need to be a 24-pack at least, I'd assume. But I just don't see it happening. Max Crosby, I like him. I like him a lot. But watching his play this year and watching it last year, I thought there was more validity to the potential trade of Crosby to Detroit. This year, I just don't see it with his new contract. Been wrong before. The other part is, where would you put him? Could he play big end for us? I don't know. It'd be good to see him out there. I think he would give a lot of flexibility to the defense. He's got 63.5 sacks in his career, but how much more would he add to this line? Getting to the quarterback, I think he would add a lot. Being strong against the run, that's where at least my questions would be about him. You'll let me know your thoughts. Do you think he'd be better than some of the other guys we already have against the run? Because we all get it by this point in his career. MCDC, you've got to stop the run first before you worry about the quarterback. It's probably why James Houston is not here. I loved James Houston as a Detroit Lion. I thought he was one of the biggest freak athletes ever. But let's also be fair. James Houston was not a great run edge defender. Max Crosby, I think he's pretty good at getting the quarterback, and I don't think he's bad at stopping the run. I just don't know if he's better at stopping the run than the vast majority of the guys that we're putting out there now. He's way better at getting the quarterback. But that, again, does not seem to be the Dan Campbell mantra as far as what he wants to do. If the Lions were to go after Max Crosby, what do you think it would cost? And do you think that Brad Holmes would give that up? Let me know your thoughts if you would be so kind. All right, last of the 5 headlines now. Detroit Lions 2025 offensive midseason grades. Detroit Lions on SI by Christian Boer with this one. I did not have time to clip things out this morning. Apologies. So I'm just going to read it off. Jared Goff, B+. Running backs, we're going to give them a B. Wide receivers, also a B. How about that? Tight ends, an A. And I think that's fair to say because this year we've been running so many 2 tight end sets. They've been blocking well. They've been pass routing well. I think we can all probably agree with that. Offensive line, this is probably where we start debating it a little bit more. C+ is the grade. And I think a lot of this grade by the reporter putting this together just simply comes down to the lack of consistency. We all saw it in Green Bay week 1. Hey, these guys hadn't practiced together. They hadn't played, many snaps in preseason together. They hadn't done a lot of things together. Taylor Decker hadn't done much with them. Christian Mahogany and Ratledge, they were getting their feet wet, really. So, and then he got Glasgow filling in at center, which he has all year, but it was a little bit different for him. After that point, I think they've had some moments they've looked good. Other moments they've looked not so consistent. I feel like the last 3 or 4 weeks against some better defensive fronts, they've shown some weaknesses out there. Decker's situation, we covered it in a news story this week. We don't know what's going on with that shoulder, just that it's become a little bit of a concern for the team. You can see him wincing, favoring it on the field against the Bucs. So something's not right there. Will the bye week magically take care of all that? Probably not, but could it help? Absolutely. The offensive line is the backbone for this team. We all understand it. You can't pass the ball if you can't pass block. You can't run the ball if you can't run block. If the offensive line struggles against some of the bigger, better teams in this league, that will impact the Detroit Lions. We're all asking why we don't see Jameson Williams on more deep shots or routes on the offense. I think a lot of it has to do with the time that Goff doesn't have for that play to develop. Against Cleveland, he had 2 or 3 different shots down the field, but think about that game. When he tried to get the ball to JMO, he's getting hit as he's thrown it. That's why the passes were a little off, and you know what? It's just hard to give somebody 2 to 3 seconds to get down the field on a break route or, post pattern, a fly pattern, or post, whatever you want to say, streak pattern, if you don't have that kind of time to throw. So I understand that aspect of why JMO isn't as involved. I think we could do some more things schematically to get him more involved. But with that being said, we've also talked about the Detroit Lions trying to address the offensive line during the bye week. Nothing's happened as of yet. Doesn't mean something couldn't happen. We've got a little bit of time still before the trade deadline passes, but we're all going to be paying attention because I do think the Lions, if nothing else, should address some depth at the offensive line. Doesn't mean they're going to listen to me, though. All right, that's it for the 5 headlines. Now let's get to the Dooku comment section. Probably going to be a little bit quicker show, and that's okay. It's the bye week. We may not have as much news or notes as we normally do. All right, let me scroll to the top of the screen and get it going. Pam Cooley, good morning, Dan and Dooku, and back at you, my friend, James. Good morning, Dan and Dooku. Hey, always a pleasure to see you, James. Bo, good morning, Dooku. Only the shadow knows that what the villains will do! Exclamation point. Woo! I'll take that. And yes, I think you're probably right. Only people in the front office of the Detroit Lions understand what is going to happen. Rob, greetings and salutations all. What do you have for us today, Coach? And now you know, and knowing is half the battle. James, no Dan O'Damas this week. Exclamation point. No, Dan O'Damas free show here today as he's out on super secret assignment, I guess. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Bye week is almost done. Yeah, let that sink in. Feels like just a couple days ago we were talking about, man, they get the bye week. They got a couple weeks off. Yeah, those couple weeks go by pretty fast in about 4 days for the Detroit Lions. Flies right by for those players. Looks like a lot of them went to a Pistons game. I did hear something about that. My brother Tim sent me some sort of video. I think it was an Instagram or something like that, video of a bunch of the Lions and, cars, leaving a game, and must have been the Pistons game. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan Dukru. What a team. What a podcast. Exclamation point. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Always a pleasure to have you on the show in the morning there, Henry. France, laughing out loud. True, James. Yes, no Daniel Thomas this week. Michael D. Greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. One pride. Woo! Always got to have pride in the one pride. Rob, is Daniel Thomas able to protect all NFL games or just Lions games? I'll have to ask about that. I do not know. Maybe that could be a new segment. Jess, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. So who all is back next week? That's a great question. Vikings look like they are a mess at quarterback. So does that mean they have a second straight bye week? I don't know if Carson Wentz is very healthy. I did watch the highlights of the game yesterday when I was at the gym. And you could just see he's pretty physically beat down. His left shoulder, left arm was just kind of hanging on. Of course, that's not his throwing shoulder, but he's taken some beatings. The offensive line for the Vikings have allowed him, I want to say something like to get sacked, or Vikings quarterbacks to get sacked, is somewhere in the mid-30s already this year. That's a ton of pressure on quarterbacks through 7 games. I'm expecting, like, probably real coach speak here. Hey, they're going to play their best. They're going to come out. They're going to be ready for us, all that kind of stuff, because you don't want to disrespect and overlook anybody. I don't really know if the Lions do that just from a mental standpoint either. But if their situation at quarterback between JJ or Wentz isn't really great and you get some shots on those guys early, it could be a favorable situation. That's probably at least fair to say. It could be a favorable situation for the Detroit Lions coming out of the bye. James, Rob Hawk, only Lions games. It could be accurate. Kerry, morning, everyone. Same to you. James, Dan makes me laugh every time his alter ego shows up on Saturday. Yeah, man, we've had a few on that with Dan O'Damas, and then what we had. Lieutenant Dan, and then we've had, who's the draft guy for ESPN? I can't even remember his name right now. But anyways, you guys get it. Dan O'Damas likes to dress up and have different roles on the show. All right, Rob, I don't think he's going to have a problem with the Vikings game. No, probably not much of a problem at all. I'm thinking JDC, morning all, back at you. James, I don't think Brad is going to make any more moves during the season. He and Dan are content with the product on the field. I would say there could be a level of truth to that. I mean, we get it. The defense is far deeper at this point today than any of us would have guessed a few weeks ago. The only thing I really could surmise, could you add a veteran wide receiver? Do you need to add a veteran wide receiver? I think we're pretty good at tight end, running back. There's not a quarterback out there you're going to add at this point to improve the depth of the team. The really only thing I can consider, because I do think our depth is phenomenal at defensive line and linebacker. Of course, you can always get better, right? But it'd be the offensive line. If you could add somehow a left tackle or maybe a swing guard or something like that, just for depth purposes. James JDC, good morning. From Miller Ward, I continue to see Max Crosby Detroit videos. I just don't see it. I don't either. But all right, anything could happen, right? Server, good morning, coach and everyone. Back at you. It's JDC, morning, James. Rob, Max isn't coming to Detroit, in my opinion. It's probably not your opinion alone. Clark, get through tomorrow, and it's back to a normal week for us. We only have 1 p.m. games remaining this year. I think we only have like a couple of them left. Don't hold me to it. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but I want to say this week against the Vikings, then obviously the Thanksgiving Day game, because they're now at 1 o'clock, not 12:30 p.m. Outside of that, you could be right. I don't know if we have a whole lot of other 1 o'clock games. James Miller Ward, Mad Max isn't coming to Detroit. Forget about it. Yeah, I would say you're probably correct with that. Gary, left tackle would be addressed before they return. Could be true. Brett, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew. And back at you, my friend. Drake, I think it really needs to be, Kerry, in my view, that's where we are the thinnest. It's our one weakness. If you mean the offensive line, I would say, yeah, if you could somehow add a left tackle or a right tackle, I guess could also be a case in point, but I'm just not sure who's out there that's not a free agent that you could really add. Maybe there's somebody I'm not considering. Could you make a low-level trade? It's possible. The only question I have is that low-level trade going to be better than Dan Skipper or Giovanni Manu when he returns, because, you could always bring him back from the IR. Henry, Max Crosby will not come to Detroit. Exclamation point. His head is so big on himself that it did not fit through the door. Hey, well, good to know. You got to be able to get through the door to play on the field. Kerry, morning, Brent, James. However, I was listening to a podcast with Justin Rogers, and he said that they are going to get J-Mo much more involved. However, most teams consistently double him and Sam Laporta. Yeah, to your point, James, you can see it in the last 2 games, the videos. In my opinion, just watching it, I can't say I watched the full games, but I try to watch enough of it and just go coach mode, do the X and O's. I would say that J-Mo's probably double team 70 to 80% of the time. I mean, that's a lot. They clearly, other teams' defense coordinators have enough respect for him and his abilities. They don't want to risk him having a one-on-one situation. You do see it happen once or twice a game, and the Lions have thrown it up there most of the time. But again, the problem, in my opinion, is just Goff doesn't typically right now have that much time to go through those progressions. It's not like last year where you would have 3 to 4 seconds before the pressure got there. This year, I'd say on average, it's 2 to 3 seconds. Jessica, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Silver Coach, I heard about the accident your mom had. Pray for her speedy recovery. Yeah, so for those who don't know, I know yesterday's show was kind of just, throwing it together, slapstick, whatever you want to say, because my mom went to the emergency room the night before, and we were there pretty late, just because, long story short, she fell, hurt herself, it shattered her left shoulder. It's going to need surgery to reconstruct it. All right, Brett, hey, Carrie, and back at you both. Carrie, Drake, they are not going to let that happen again this year. Yeah, with all the injuries so far, I think we're doing okay. The Trip Reaver, good morning, Coach Dan and the Mighty Duke Crew. Exclamation point, back at you. James Rob Hawk. Nope, Mad Max isn't coming. Probably not. Rob, woo! Hey, that's a good start to your day. Five Fingers Freddy. So what's the deal with Wingo? I thought he had some real promise. I think he does, but maybe that knee just isn't right. That could be the one aspect we're all not considering. We all know he had the ACL. He came back, but maybe after he came back, they're like, maybe this thing isn't quite ready to go. That's just a total speculation on my part. Drew, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Enjoy your all days today. Hey, there you go. Go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Hey, what's this, Rob? Thank you for this. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let's see. Have yourself a do on the crew. Thanks for all you do. Man, that's a twisted tongue word, whatever I'm trying to say. But thank you. And I'll make sure I leave Bobby a nice tip as well. And just for that, man, from the bottom of my heart, let's give you a 1, 2, and a 3. And again, thank you kindly. Man Bear, good morning. Greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Back at you. James, the Lions are keeping an eye out for both Miami and Cleveland. They may have a fire sale on many of the players. It is possible. I think Miami's going to do it, to your point. Cleveland, well, they won last week. If they win another game, I want to say they're back at 500. I mean, I guess they've got a mathematically as good a shot as anybody to win their division. Steve, I think Chris Mahogany and Tate Ratledge developed this season. Then the offensive line will play better and more consistent. Probably accurate. So, let's face it. I love golf, but throwing deep is not his specialty. JMO is playing a little bit of that as well. Yeah, I'll go with that. Let's see. Mary, good morning, Coach Dan and the Dooku. Back at you. Trim, Timmy. Yeah, we haven't seen him. He's gone silent since last Monday's morning show. Pat, Coach, I'm impressed with you. You're out here 7 days a week, even on the off week. I enjoy it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it too. So if everybody enjoys it, why not do it, right? But thank you for that, Pat. The Rebel, good morning, Duke Crew. Oh, yeah, with some exclamation points. Lauren, good morning, Duke Crew and Coach Dan. Exclamation point. Woo! Hey, have one back at you. Rob, is 15-2 still possible? Mathematically, it is. Tori, where has Timmy gone? Or where can he be? Well, you guys let me know if you see him around. Jordan Members laughing. Silver Server. Kerry, I hope you are right about the left tackle because they need one, but who? Question mark. Teams are not going to give away good tackles like old candies. They keep them. Yes, they do. Yes, they do indeed. Hugadoo. Good morning, my fellow members of the Duke Crew. The question is the dollar store open for Brad to make a move? It's a fair question. I have no doubt. He's admitted as much. Brad Holmes has admitted as much. He's going to make calls. He's going to ask about guys. It's just whether or not the price is right. James, good morning, Queen Mary. The Queen is here. Anymore, good morning, Mary. Rob, 15-2 is possible, but not likely. Yeah, one never knows. Hookadoo. And a fine good morning, Queen Mary. I'll go with that. Carrie, Brad, the shopper, has his eyes out there like a kid in the candy store. Most players on teams going nowhere would love to be here. To your point, Gary, there's probably a whole lot of people that it's not just the Lions, although the Lions may be a priority destination. If you're not winning, your team's not going to playoffs, you may want to get shipped out to go to get a chance to win. So you could be spot on with that. Now, whether or not they get an opportunity to get shipped out to Detroit or another playoff team, that's the big question. Let's see, Brett, Bears and Packers losses would make this the perfect bye week. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Hey, we'll have a rooting guide for you tomorrow. Silver Sir Pat Rock, never heard of a very committed individual or a workaholic, perhaps? Could be a little bit of both. James, Silver Sir, never say never. Remember, there are 2 fire sales that are going to happen soon. Yeah, and it could be more than that. Although, hey, we'll see what kind of prices we get. So small, I think he just enjoys it. Yes, I do. I do enjoy this every morning. Jennifer, here we go. Exclamation point. Good morning, all. Back at you, Jennifer. Good to see you on the chat. Henry Moore, I don't care about the wins or losses, just hosting a playoff game, upward and onward. Yeah, let's go get that Super Bowl to your point. Kerry, agreed. Brett, Lauren, is Timmy Ambroski the Duke Cruz Waldos? Ooh, could be. Where are they indeed? You don't ever see them in the chat at the same time, do you? Or see them around when they're not. I don't know how I'm trying to say that. James, hey, new member. Thank you for being a glorious member of the Duke Crew. Hey, hopefully you enjoy it. Mary, good morning. Silver, Hooglu, Henry, James, and how are my Grit brothers doing this morning? Hopefully everybody is well. Lauren, good morning. Queen Mary. Rob, I agree. Henry with an exclamation point. Silver, Mary Smith, good morning, my dear. Exclamation point. Pray you have a blessed day. Hopefully everybody in the Duke Crew has a phenomenal day. Chuck, great and salutations, Coach Dan, the world famous Duke Crew. Always great to have Chuck in the channel. Thomas, any updates on the Ahmed Hassanin? Just that it sounds like, according to his dad, and of course he had the video earlier this week, Thomas, he looks like he's basically all healed up. The Lions have to get through week 9, and then legally they can re-sign him. So my guess is give it about another 7-10 days, and he's probably going to reemerge with the team. The question, in my opinion, let me know your thoughts. Does he go on the 53-man roster or the practice squad? My view is if he goes on the practice squad, somebody's going to poach him. That's, of course, speculation on my part. James, Mary Smith, we are doing fine. We are all waiting for our favorite queen to show up. Hey, we're always waiting for Queen Mary in the chat. The Trim Reaper, smash that like button, exclamation point. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. JK, Smirnoff Raspberry woke me up, and it happens. It's the Silver Server. James Allen, Lions need an offensive tackle. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can make that happen. Lauren, unfortunately, my alarm woke me up for work. Hey, work, I get work, man. Mary, James is all love. Hoogadu, go Spartans. There you go. The non-laughers, good morning. Dan Dooku, starters, exclamation point. When is Miles Frazier getting healthy? Will he be good at all this year? That's the $1 million question. I don't know because we haven't seen him in preseason. We haven't seen him in scrimmages. We haven't seen him in anything. So I'm assuming he will be somebody will be a bit of a project, sort of like Mahogany last year, but that doesn't mean he can't help out this year. It's probably going to take a few weeks to get him up into football conditioning and shape, and then you can start slowly evaluating him. But that knee, I don't know what happened to it. They've been kind of tight-lipped about the full extent of his knee injury, so because of that, I don't know. Brent, go blue, exclamation point. There'll be a lot of that. Go blue or go green today. Mary, yes, hookadoo, same old soup. Good morning, Coach Dan of the Duke Crew. Always pleasure to see you. Like the new thumbnail picture, my friend. Looks like you had a good time. Golf, Lions rock, Dan rocks, Duke Crew, you all rock. Hit the buttons. Yeah, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit all the buttons. Lauren, go blue. Sorry, not sorry, hookadoo. It happens. JK, Spartan Nash was brought by new headquarters. Okay, Spartan Nash. Yeah, I used to work for Jewel Osco 1,000 years ago. Silver, thank you, Coach, for sparing us the Hendricksons and Crosbys and the Garretts. It happens, man. But I get why people report on them. I just think, last year I thought there was some level of validity to it. But when I look at the team this year, I just don't know they would all help out. Each of them, they're great players. But are they massive upgrades over some of the guys we have? That's where I think the question lies. And plus the cost to acquire. Brett, good morning, Hookadoo. We're rivals today, buddy. Exclamation point. James, hit all the buttons, everybody. Thank you very much for that. Mary, I heard that Brad was having conversations with the Bengals. Might be true. Family Fair expanded. There you go, JK. The Trim Reaper lifetime contract for MCDC. I bet you, unless he really does something to blow things up, he's going to be here as long as he wants to be here. Courtney, go green. Lauren, yeah, there'll be a lot of green and blue conversations today. Lauren, yes, Trim, he should be here for life. Probably will be. Hookadoo. It's all good, Brent, but my blood pressure runs green today. Ooh, there you go. Lauren, might need to get that checked out. Hookadoo. Mary Smith, Brent, go green, 100%. Carrie, Michigan to torch the Sparty field. Yeah, we'll find out. James, the Trim Reaper, Dan Campbell contract isn't coming up. Hey, remember, once upon a time, Bill Belichick thought he had a lifetime contract in New England, and then it did change. MCDC's no Belichick, though. I think he's very endearing because of how he coaches, his personality. He's going to be around the Lions as long as he wants to be, in my opinion. Kurt Steele, the Hitman. What up, no Duke Crew, with an exclamation point. The Robo. Greetings, salutations, Coach Dan. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Brett, good luck today, Queen Mary. Lauren, good morning, Professor. Trim Reaper, good morning, Professor Steele. Hookadoo, it's fine, Lauren. The doctor said I had the blood of a Spartan. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. I see what you did there. JK, no news is sometimes good news. Hey, with Gary, good news, if you get that reference. Lions do or die. What is happening, Coach and Duke Crew? Not too much. How about you this fine morning? Steven, anyone else find themselves suddenly rooting for the Steelers this weekend? I think there's a whole lot of that going on this weekend. Melissa and Fisher, good morning, everyone. Back-to-back live attendance for me. This is awesome! Exclamation point. Thanks, Dan, for being here every day. You rock for real. Go Lions. Hey, I enjoy it, and I get the impression some of you guys do too. So, all right, Kurt Steele wants you to know if you are a Boss Up Ball Out channel member, your exclusive content video will be available today. We'll have to check it out. JK calling onward, you mean? Now we'll go with that. Conward, all right. It's Lions. What's up, Kurt Steele? Lauren, Hookadoo, laughing out loud. Good one. Courtney, me too, Hookadoo. You used to drink beer at Mac Bar with the Great Dane. Okay. James, Detroit Lions are sizzling hot when it comes to their merchandise. I've been seeing starter jackets at Costco in the Michigan locations. Yeah, we go to Costco, the wife and I, and yeah, you see they have an uptick, maybe the last few years in Lions gear, but I know they just got a bunch of new gear there as well, jackets, etc. So, sir, Wayne was an uncle. I really liked Wayne, and oh man, the day he got removed as head coach, I understand why they did it. I disagreed with it. I remember writing a bunch of stuff on it saying this is a bad move. It's going to blow up on them. You can have your own opinions on it. My opinion, it set the Lions back, and they started spiraling down at that point. All right, Trevor Reaper, is Coach Jones and LL Hader going to be in the video? We'll find out. Steve, James Allen, those jackets are real nice and still about $75 even in Costco. Okay. Essential Scrutinizer. Greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you. Good still. Lions do or die vet. What up, though? Hookadoo. My dad graduated from MSU, Courtney. Oh, yeah. I'll take that. JK bought a hoodie. Myers, $20 merch. Hey, nothing wrong with that. James, I used to watch Wayne Font's interview after Lions games. He always cheerful, even when they lost games. Yeah, he was just, he still is. It's not like he's deceased, but just great dude. For those who didn't watch it, check out the Robert Porcher being put into the Ring of Honor and some of his jokes about Wayne. I mean, you could just see when guys come back 20, 30 years later, and when they get their big moment and they're cracking jokes about stuff their coach did in a good way, that probably shows you how much they endeared themselves with the coach and vice versa, the coach with the players. Dre Day, Coward flips on the Lions every win and losses, but glad he realized MCDC is a great coach. Yeah, he seems to have come to that conclusion. Chuck Dan did build the team as he said he would, along with Brad. A lot of our previous coaches had to be thrown out after 3 to 4 seasons, if not sooner. MCDC was creating a winning team. Woo! He was, man. And you know what? I'm glad that we've got him. JK Lions, Courtney. Morton Anderson, the kicker, would have graduated but spent too much time at Mac Bar. Hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Decisions. Hookadoo, Queen Mary, you graduated from MSU, didn't you? We'll find out. Thomas G, trade runners. Who knew? I hate this time of year. Why 90% of our auction is used up for nothing? Brad not bringing in a stud game changer. Yeah, I don't think he's going to either, Thomas. Egon, the thing about MCDC is you can't fake authenticity. So not everyone will be able to follow that model. No, you're right. Not everybody can be that kind of person. Let's see. Maleficent Fisher, is winning a Super Bowl the only way Dan Campbell will win Coach of the Year? Question mark. Could be. I was so disappointed that he didn't get it last year. I was a little bit surprised by it. You're supposed to base it on the regular season, but I'm guessing the playoff loss, even though you're not supposed to include it, was a big factor. Central Scrutinizer. Sparty up, trade, question mark. Do you guys think the Lions make a trade? I'm 60-40, they don't. I'd say, yeah, probably I'm about 60-40, they could. It's just going to be low cost, some sort of upgrade to depth purposes. I don't think you're bringing in some big-time starter. J.K. Glenn is safe for this one season. Yeah, probably accurate. Thomas, listen, the most important thing is we know MCDC is our Coach of the Year with an exclamation point. I'll take that. James, if I was Aaron Glenn, I would probably be looking for another team to coach. Could be. Kurt still laughing out loud. Not Crosby again. No, I don't think he's coming here, man. Drum River, Crosby, Detroit. Hey, it could be some breaking news if it happens. Melissa and Fisher, Egon, you are absolutely correct on that. Exclamation point. Only MCDC can be MCDC. Yeah, it could be true. Kurt Steele, Max Crosby is smaller than Barnes. Correct with that. Yes. 89, Dr. Funk. Man, I wish the media and content creators stop the Crosby talk. It's not happening. No, I agree with you 1,000% on that, man. JK Max injured, staying in Vegas. Or could be. Brent Crosby. We talking about Crosby. James, heck no, leave Max Crosby right where he's at. Probably will. JK, next trade, Crosby. Man, you can tell coach hasn't been resting at all. He's still keeping us company. There you go. Let's see, Steve. I think at this point, Max can stay put in Vegas. Doesn't seem like a right fit. No, he's, it's not like he wouldn't help the team if he came here. It's just, I don't think they're giving up what you want to get him. Plus, the other thing that I think makes MCDC and this, coaching staff, front office work so well with players, if you're brought in, you are us. We're not looking somewhere else, to find someone to replace you. And I think that really resonates with a lot of the guys. Remember, I just want to retain the talent we have and maybe add some depth to the offensive line and edge. Could be what they do. Thomas Crosby could play anywhere on the defensive line if needed. It's not a case of talent. It's what you give up for him. Exclamation point. Remember, our first round pick to others is a second. Yes, assuming we have the end of the year we're all anticipating, you are most correct on that. Patrick, maybe a trade for Crosby, a third and second 12-pack of Mountain Dew, Code Red. Code Red it could be. Maybe we'll order the Code Red. Who ordered the Code Red? Steve Bruno. Good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Coach, the villain and Sheila Hamp are putting the heads together working on something big. She will not spill the tea. We'll find out. Sergeant Hale, hey, talking about somebody we haven't seen in a hot second. Greetings, salutations, Dan and crew. Exclamation point. Back at you. Superstar Max Crosby plays 3 sizes bigger than he is. He's just one of the most disruptive I've seen. He's pretty good. We'll see if he comes here. Chuck, simple. Max Crosby is too expensive. It could be. The plane tickets from Vegas to Detroit aren't cheap. Silver, Thomas, talent doesn't mean he fits. All right. Reality Mike, Duke Crew is the best crew. Exclamation point. Woo! Back at you. Hopefully having a more warmer day in Florida than we're having here in Michigan. Dre Day, not giving up 2 picks for no one. Detroit does not do well in the draft. Detroit does too well in the draft. My bad. I messed that up. Sorry about that, Dre Day. Thomas, O-line versus Green Bay on MCDC. Exclamation point. They should have played preseason. Could be. See, Kurt Steele, Chuck. Yep, I'll take that. Remember, I love Crosby, but it ain't happening. Me too. Jennifer, how is your mom doing, Dan? She's staying with one of my sisters for the weekend. She's resting up. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see what they say about getting her in for surgery to rebuild the shoulder that follows that bad. But, she's 88 years old. Probably like all of us, man, we start getting to a certain age. Trips, falls happen. Central Scrutinizer Crosby isn't getting traded from what I can glean from the media based on the Raiders press conference and Crosby interview. There you go. JK, Coleslaw, Max Crosby. Thomas, want to be Kurt, exclamation point. If we got Crosby, he would fit like a glove. Why? 100% talent and motor. He's still the best defensive player in Vegas has. Probably accurate as far as the best defensive player. Lauren, I'd trade a case of Dew for Crosby. We'll see if we can make that happen. Garrett, Watt, Hendrickson, Crosby. I love any of them. Brad isn't going to spend that much money or trade that away that much. Correct with that, I believe. Dre D, how is your mother? Doing better. I prayed for her. Falling is no joke. No joke at all. And just lost her footing on something, and it happened. She fell, and hopefully she's going to be a-okay. Trim Reaper, practice. We're talking about practice. Straight. Wonder how much time J-Mo spends outside of practice time with the Jared Goff to get their connection better. Something tells me on St. Brown takes those opportunities. Could be accurate, 100%. Brent agreed. Carrying Silver Server. J-Mo needs patience, but Morton and Campbell need to start planning something different to get some sort of evolution in that pass game. Tesla has, 3 catches is ridiculous. We'll find out what they do. Maybe they're spending the offseason, the bye week on some of that. JK, toasted caramel, black velvet, or Kessler with black rifle coffee. All sound interesting to me. Mary Smith, Coach Dan, how's mom doing? A little bit better. So, again, it's day by day, but hey, she's able to move around, drink her coffee, do some reading, watch game shows. Not too bad. Won't be going to church today. My mom goes to church like 7 days a week. She helps out the church. And I know that's going to eat at her. That's probably going to be the toughest part of it, is not being able to go to church every day. Let's see. The 302 kid, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. I think we are in pretty good shape. However, a quality backup for Taylor Decker or something like that must be considered. Go Lions, go MSU. Hey, I do wonder if they're making some calls about that specific thing, the backup offensive tackle, left tackle spot. Trey Merrifer, I think Geiserman is about to make a trade to put the Wings in serious contention. We'll see if he does. They've had a pretty good start to the year. Thomas, don't know about y'all, but I believe what's going on in the NBA is also at a certain point in the NFL. Why? Way too much money, Vegas involved. Whew, we could do a 2-hour special on that, but maybe save that for tomorrow. Silver Surfer. And they need to figure out how to make Monty more meaningful in the running game. Starting him could be the way. Could be indeed. Was it Mel Kiper? There we go. Yeah, I just drew a blank this morning. It took in, all right, Del Kiper, Dan Kiper. How about that, non-lappers? I'll go with that. We'll go with all of them. J.K. Daniel Damas says, Arabic Dead Sea Scrolls? Could be. Maybe he foretold the finding of the Dead Sea Scrolls back in the day. Egan, it took Ben Johnson some time to learn how to properly utilize J-Mo. Morton will be no different. Could be. The Central Scooters, maybe an offensive line backup for trade occurs. We'll see. Pat Rock, 302 could. I agree with a good backup for Decker is a must. I like Skipper, but to go in the playoffs with him, I just think something is coming. We'll see. Numbers, just think it out there on Vaki after he's healthy this time. One more extended 6-week injury within a year. Cut him. We'll see if they do. Term Reaver, Ben is still a little Johnson. Might be accurate. Thomas Manu is not going to be ready to be a real left tackle until next year. Exclamation. No way. I am going to have him protect the franchise till he gets much better. All right. We'll see what happens. See, Dre Day, Morton acknowledged that St. Brown will be in every game plan, but he wants to get J-Mo the ball. Even Jared Goff said in a few pressers they had calls for him, and a lot of checkouts because of the D. Yeah, and that's part of the problem. The defenses could be imposing the will enough to where you have to get out of the play. Plus, some of the learning opportunities for the offensive line. J.K. Benjamin Johnson. Hey, there you go. Central Scootanizer. Let's hope the rest of the NFC North gets swept this week. I like the way you're thinking. Let's make that happen. Brent, China Dalvaki. So far, man, you got to have some questions about the kid. Thomas Egon Morton is not a rookie OC. Exclamation point. He was with us J-Mo's first year in tapes on J-Mo. If he doesn't know how to use J-Mo by now, not good. Yeah, could be. Central Scrutinizer, this is the one of the 2 times I will be rooting for Rodgers in my life. Time to go Steelers. Hey, let's hope the Steelers do us a favor. The Rebel, why are we talking about trades? Hey, just in case, a little something to talk about in your morning dew. If Garrett from Cleveland go up for auction, we need him. Let's see if we can get it with an exclamation point. Thomas, we're not going 15-2, more like 13-4, 12-5. We'll see what shakes out. Reversion to the mean. Good morning, Coach Dan and Dirk. Rest up, Lions. Everyone in the crew and your families, I'll pray for. Stay well and get well. Thank you for that from the bottom of my heart, Reversion. Sergeant Hall, praying for your mom, and thanks for all you do, Dan. Exclamation point, and thank you for that. JK, we get 2 more losses. Don't call me Timothy. We'll go with that. Vernon, Coach, where is Dominic Lovett? He is a no-show. He's been out there, but basically just special teams. I think maybe he's got 1 snap as a wide receiver. Don't hold me to that, though. Chad, good morning, Dan, and the Awesome Duke crew. Woo! I'm glad their thoughts are for the offensive line. I hope we grab someone solid. We'll see if we do. That would be my opinion. That's also what we heard some whispers about from some Lions media reporters. The Rebel, we're good. Exclamation point. Just wait until the defense is 85 to 90% healthy. It'll be here soon. Dre Day. Let's see. JK, I thought 13-4 as well. It will be interesting where those losses will come from. We'll find out. Chad, puff, pass, my friends. Enjoy your weekend off. Enjoy your weekend off. We'll take that. JK, Dre Day, need the Super Bowl even if you get dirty. I agree. Let's see. Hookadoo, put Ahmed on the 53. Probably going to have to or you're going to lose him, is my opinion. Brent, agreed. Hookadoo. Thomas, suplex the like, y'all. Hit the like and subscribe. And thank you, por favor. Dre Day. To be fair, the Lions have been as bad in my fan time years as they can dominate this division in the decade and no Super Bowl. I wouldn't be upset. Hey, let's get the Super Bowl and win the division again. Trim Reaper. Woo! Last night's drink was a strong one. Hope you enjoyed it. I know, right? Laughing out loud, says J.K. Thomas. Miles Frazier more than likely will not be available when really needed this year. Exclamation point. It's just too late for him to beginning as a rookie. Missed too much time. Next year, he'll be a stud, just like Tate. Let's hope so. The Rebel, a lifetime contract from Holmes as well? Probably. He's earned it, man. I mean, think about it. What MCDC does on the field is one thing, but you got to have the front office behind you. I've talked about it 1,000 times on this show. back in the day when the Lions had talent in the 90s, the separation from the coaches, the players, and the front offices, everybody was pointing fingers at each other. It just wasn't a good time. Dan M., go Michigan. We'll take that. Is it Byron Thomas? What do you got? Did you hear about Cam Thomas being targeted by the Lions? I did not. I'll have to check that out. Thanks for the heads up on that, Byron. JC Green and Sanitation Coach and Crew with an exclamation point and back at you. The Troy member, I went off on Tom Grossi last night, laughing all out. Can't stand him. All right. The Rebel. Great Space Coaster reference. I love it. Yes, yeah, I do remember that show, man. It was pretty cool back in the day. Thomas, been a Sparty fan since 66. MSU with no O and a sad D. MU, sorry to say victors. All right. Egon, how about Tom Reaper? Tom Reaper, how about that? Trim Reaper even, with the laughing. The Rebel, we need to keep the coaching regime for as long as possible. MCDC is not going anywhere. How many of the subordinates or assistant coaches take off? They get more and more successful. They're probably going to take off at some point. J.K. Grossi wants a hubby. All right. Gary, Sparty to the hospital with the Wolverines bite. Might be accurate. Hookadoo, I'll root for the Wolverines. It's a small town in northern Michigan. Laughing out loud. Why Grandpa was born there. Exclamation point. Digital Dave, happy Saturday. Coach and Crew. Exclamation point. I am very impressed with Coach Shep. You have to be, right? Is there any chance we can find room the 53 for Whiteside? Think he made a good case to keep him. You keep him, somebody else has got to go. Now, who do you let go in order to keep him? That's, I guess, the question. Let me know your thoughts. Big Belly Lou, if the Lions do make a trade, I think it's going to be the offensive line because our pass protection needs help. I agree with you. The pass protection has not been great, especially like the last month. How much you can improve that will probably improve the passing game and to a certain degree the running game, right? Hey, what do you got? Hey, talk about somebody you haven't seen in a hot second. Greetings, salutation, everyone. See you guys at SoFi, exclamation point. Las Vegas Flintstones, SoFi Taylor, one prime. Go enjoy it, my friend. Barbie Henry, greetings, sanitation, Duke Crew, woo, with some exclamation points. Hookadoo, Carrie, the vet pulled the Wolverines' teeth. What are they going to gum Sparty? What are they going to gum Sparty? I don't know. We'll find out what happens with the game, but I don't really watch either team that much unless I'm with friends, but I'm just going to go out and cheer them on with some buddies. Henmore, have a glorious and wonderful day and weekend. Everyone, back at you. Dolo Dominant, we should get Jalen Phillips. There's a lot of talk about that. You might be able to get him fairly cheap because he has been pretty injured in recent years. Trum Reaper, you too, Henry. Dolo, Raiders said not trading Crosby. Yeah, and I don't see that one happening. Been wrong before. Let's see, Jennifer, praying for your family, Dan. Thank you very much. I'm sorry if I can't pronounce your name. I just cannot read that. Hello from Thailand. Thank you for a great show, Coach. Anytime, my friend. Thank you for being a part of the Dude Crew. Dolo, JMO connection is on the OC. Could be accurate. Hello, Agent. Says JK. Yeah, Jody. Glad your mom is okay, Dan. Yeah, she'll tough it out. I mean, she's an old horse farm, lady. She grew up on a farm and all that stuff. She grew up, pretty tough. And that's one thing I always say about my mom. I've never met a probably more physical and stronger person. I'd say, Byron, praying for your mother's speedy recovery, Dan. Thank you very much to everybody in the Duke Crew. And thank you too, Byron. Let's see, Lauren. Wings have started. Hey, they have been on fire. Hookadoo. I hope some members of the church will come visit her then. I'm guessing they probably will. Trimmer, poor Mama Donis. Hope she heals up quickly. She probably will, man. She'll do it begrudgingly. Like, we want her to just relax and not do all of her normal work stuff. Like, she's still at 88, shovels her own driveway, mows her own lawn, goes to the grocery store for herself, all that stuff. Works 3 jobs. Sound familiar? But we're trying to get her to slow down. It's tough because she so doesn't want to do it. Barbie, what do you got? Greetings, sanitation, Duke Crew from Barb and Kev here in East Tennessee. Exclamation point. One pride for life. Woo! Prayers for your mom, Dan. Thank you very much for that. And hopefully you have a good time over in Tennessee. Trim Reaper, hit all the buttons. Exclamation point. Woo! I'll take that. Trim Reaper, have a great and glorious day, Duke Crew. Oh, yeah. Hey, it's always a good day with the crew. Bobby, what trade rumors? Hey, that's probably a fair question, right, Bobby? The Trim Reaper, Shirley can't be having trade rumors. Trade day, or Shirley. Trim Reaper, you can call me anything you want, but don't call me that. Laughing out loud. Hookadoo. Happy trails, Duke Crew, one pride worldwide. Sure hope time flies by. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Trim Reaper, that's good sports is Tom's hubby. All right, Barbie, make NFL great again. Exclamation point. Exit Goodell to stage left and put Peyton Manning as his commissioner. I wonder if they would go for that. I wonder if Peyton wants that. Jason in Brooklyn, what up, though, Duke Crew? Let's go. Exclamation. How you doing, Coach Dan? And the new backdrop, my guy. Loved it. Hey, I love it too. And we'll use it. We'll rotate it with some of the other ones from time to time. All right, guys, if there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. If you would be so kind before departing, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. Be a good human being. We'll see you all in the next exciting edition of Lions Talk Live. See you guys. Have a great one.
Thank you.